Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Hot Topics program. My name's Lee Woodward and today we're looking at the real estate marketplace in Melbourne's outer east and especially in that Yarra Valley area, so well known across the Australian nation. And joining us today to give us some great advice, and he's been working with us throughout this period, is Mr. Greg Ernie from Metfern The Professionals. Greg, welcome aboard.
Hello, Lee.
Your company's been going for 57 years in the area. And what we're seeing right now is a dramatic change in market where in the last 5 years, the marketplace has grown so much and the increase in price was just so intense. It's now settled. And as it settles, it causes concern in the marketplace of what's going to happen next. And what I want to do is chat with you today about the challenges that any owner would face, no matter which agency they are with, and what's your view and guidance on what they should do to get the best result in the marketplace they can. And challenge one, Greg, is many other agents who are not representing that owner are now sending letters to the owner, and although they're with another agent, trying to get into the relationship between the agent selected and who wants to be the next agent. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's a funny one, Lee. Unfortunately, in our industry, a lot of agents are obviously desperate for business. And it's funny, as soon as a for sale sign goes up out the front of a home or it gets listed on the internet, time and time again, our sellers say, Greg, it's amazing. You know, I've never had so many letters. I've had more people knock on our door. You know, we've got a buyer for your home. I noticed you're for sale. I noticed you haven't sold yet. All they're simply trying to do is fracture our relationship with our sellers. They're trying to worm their way in, I guess, to really try to get the business should we not sell the home. So I almost find it comical, really, just what agents and the lengths they go to. But at the end of the day, look, they're just trying to break down our relationship that we have with our sellers. But thankfully, the relationship we have with our sellers, the amount of times I'll get a text or an email or a phone call, Greg, I got another one. I got another letter, or you won't believe I had such and such knock on our door today saying they've got a buyer. But yeah, it's just something for sellers to be aware of, that they will see a substantial increase in the amount of other real estate agents dropping material and hanging around their property.
And I think a good tip for our consumer here is be careful of what conversations you're having with an unknown party. Now, regardless of that agent, they've probably got another owner they've just sold a house for, may have mentioned your home and could be interested. And although they may already been inspecting the home with yourselves or whichever agent's got it, and they're calling the current owner now to say, what will you accept? Well, then you might be disclosing figures $10,000, $15,000 below, and that's because they're looking for the cracks to see, I'll just ring them directly and see what they'll accept. And you should never, ever discuss the pricing of your property with no one other than your professional agent.
Correct. And it's the same I say to all of our sellers, never reveal why you're selling, even to friends. And, you know, if you're doing the school pickup and you're talking to other school mums, you know, they don't need to know the reason you're selling. They don't need to know that you've bought another home round the corner. And, you know, I guess as an example, our suburbs are, you know, fairly small local areas, and it could be that friends of friends of friends know the people that are actually going to be offering on your home. And if they know that, hey, you've just bought a property in Mount Evelyn and you're settling in 90 days, you know, that could affect the buyer, how much they're prepared to offer. So we say to our sellers, never say to anyone why you're selling. We never do. If we ever get asked, we just say simply the property doesn't suit their needs and they're looking to move on to something else. And I think just be very careful as to what you're revealing and about, you know, why you are on the market.
Greg, the next challenge that's popped up is, should I or should I not, as an owner, accept an early offer on my property because I may get more in the long term? Yet we seem to see a common pattern on this one.
It's always a tough decision, and I get it, especially if the property's only been on the market for a week or two. You know, that can seem, gee, we've only ran one open or barely even been to the market. But I think sometimes what a buyer or what a seller just needs to keep in mind that while they've only been on the market for a week or two, that buyer may have been looking for the last 2 or 3 or 4 months. So while they've only been on for 2 weeks, the buyer's been on for 4 months. And that offer that, while it seems like it's come quickly, has actually been in the making for the last 3-4 months. So big decisions. Naturally, our sales consultants will always advise our owners where they feel or their recommendations. At the end of the day, obviously, it's our seller's decision, but it's a big decision. And I think sellers never want to be too quick to dismiss an early offer. And in a market perhaps at the moment where we are seeing values fall, in fact, a story comes to mind of some sellers in Mooroolbark. I was aware they wanted to achieve $780,000 for their home. They had an offer of $768,000. They knocked it back because they wanted that extra $12,000. Well, only a month ago, those sellers just sold for $700,000. So, you know, owners need to take these offers seriously when they do come in.
Well, Challenge 3 is we've now got an international marketplace, all different type of nationalities looking at real estate in Australia, and we have a national purchasing community. But challenge 3 is the surprise visit. Someone knocks on your door directly saying, look, I'm out the front. I notice your signboard's up. Can I have a look through? Greg, this one's frightening.
Yeah, and look, even for, families, they might have young kids, or it could be an elderly lady and the buyer, knocks on the door. Oh, look, I've been trying to ring the real estate, but they haven't called me back. The fact is all they're trying to do is to perhaps sidestep the agent. Perhaps they're trying to find out a little bit of knowledge. Perhaps they're trying to find out what the lowest amount you will take. So we say to all of our sellers, we're very contactable. If anyone knocks on your door, don't let them in. Don't talk about your home. Just simply say, look, I've got an agent for a reason. Contact the professionals. Their phone number's on the board, and that's it. And then we can organise a private viewing. You never want to let anyone through your home that you don't know.
Challenge or question 4 has been, what should I do during open inspections? Meaning, Greg, or private inspections, you're popping over, you've got a couple from Sydney to come and see the home. I'm at home with the kids. What should I do?
Ideally, provided you're able, ideally would be best to leave the home. That's the ideal. The buyers feel more at ease. You'll feel more at ease as well. It's amazing though, Lee. Sometimes I've conducted a buyer inspection. The owners have been home and the buyers, they're all nice. Oh, I love your home and gee, you've got it well presented. How long have you been here? And then all of a sudden they throw the question in direct, and the sellers aren't expecting it. Oh, why are you selling? And all of a sudden the sellers, they weren't expecting, oh, well, we've bought up around the corner. So all of a sudden, instead of those buyers offering $800,000, now they've realised that the sellers are moving and they're moving in 60 days, so we'll offer $750,000. So yeah, ideally, if our vendors can be not home, I think they'll feel more at ease, and certainly the buyers will as well.
Well, that brings up another challenge that was mentioned of, you might have been on the market for a period of time now, and will I or will I not accept an offer? I think it's a testing question for our consumer. Their biggest fear is underselling. How do they even assess that?
Each week we communicate as much as we can with our sellers. In fact, we say to our team, and our goal is almost to have it that our vendors, it's like they're actually part of our sales team. So they understand the market. The more information we can give our sellers, the better, to empower them to make the decision. And that can be whether they accept or reject an offer. Naturally, we'll give our views, and sometimes that can be, don't accept this offer, we feel there's better value out there. And other times we'll say, look, I think based on the market, based on how many people we've had through, current conditions, other interests so far, I think it's a good offer. So look, they're things we advise. And yeah, it's not an easy decision, but information is power, and the more information we can provide, obviously that helps our owners to make the right decision, whatever that may be.
Well, challenge 6 is the complete opposite. It's not selling. Should I modify the price?
Yeah, this is a big one, Lee, and I guess probably at the moment where the market is in a fallback mode, for sellers, if it's not selling, the decision they make today, and this can sometimes take a little bit for people to fully understand, but let's just say in a falling market, a home is worth $800,000 today. If prices are falling, it could be in a month or 6 weeks' time, the price or the market value could be at $750,000. So sometimes no one ever likes to reduce the asking price. No one ever likes to adjust lower. But sometimes how quick an owner does adjust to a falling market could actually be more profitable for them rather than if they wait. So it's a big one. It's not an easy one, but I always have a saying that the greatest home in the world will remain unsold due to price. And when you think about that, you could have the absolute best home, but if it's priced and it's priced too dear, you may not get anyone through, or if you do get people through, it could be the wrong buyers, and as a result, you won't sell. It's just a funny one there, as I think, Lee, a common question or statement that sellers sometimes can make is, gee, Greg, we've had a lot of buyers, but we haven't even had an offer. No one's made an offer. They say, well, why is it, that no one's made an offer? Well, it could be that, and the best way I can use an analogy is that let's just say you've got a buyer's got $30,000 and they want to go and buy a $30,000 close to brand new Holden Commodore as an example. There's a car that's on the market. It's a 30-year-old Holden Commodore as an example, probably worth $5,000, but it's priced at $30,000. You get a lot of buyers going to have a look at the car. The fact is, even if we said, well, we would reduce the price down to $5,000, those buyers that are buying, they're looking to buy a $30,000 Holden Commodore. So the fact that the price would be adjusted is irrelevant because they don't want to buy a 30-year-old Holden Commodore. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think when we look at price, sometimes we're governed by challenge number 7 here. We listen to too much third-party advice. such as our neighbours think you're selling it too cheap. Now, it's in the neighbour's best interest that you get the highest price you can because it affects their net cash position of value. But be very careful who you listen to. What's your advice here?
Yeah, it's spot on. And I guess probably friends, family, they're never going to sell or say to an owner or to their friends that, you're asking too much for your home or it's overpriced or, don't sell it too cheap is what they'll always say. So, look, I think they're trying to be nice. And I get why they're saying those statements, but at the end of the day, that third party isn't the buyer. They're not in the market. And the fact is they're simply not going to be the ones buying the property. So, look, I think you can listen to the third party advice, but I think you got to take it into context as well.
Well, challenge 8 is who's at the door. And what we mean by this is it's a little bit like stranger danger. And we said about the surprise visit before. But quite often someone does get interested in a home and, you as the agent, Greg, you're not letting them have it at that lower price and, no, it's going to have to be higher. And they think, stuff it, I'm going to knock on the door and see if the owners will just accept it. They're doing that in chance they can get it for as less money as they can. What should we do here? Yeah,
correct. Look, simply, I think first of all, if you're a family and you've got young children, just let them know. Do not let anyone in. Probably don't even answer the door. But if by chance that, someone does knock on your door or they leave a note, just either say to them, contact the real estate agent. There's their phone number on the board. Or if you get a note or a letter, just let us know and then we can contact that buyer directly. Because, Lee, at the end of the day, you never know who's around. You never know, there's some bad people out there in the world, but obviously there's some people out there that are also knocking on the door to try to buy the property cheaper.
Now, challenge 9 is, I'm going to be away for a few days. What should I do?
Yeah, just let us know. This day and age with email and mobile phones, Facebook Messenger, as long as we know, communication's easy. We've sold many homes where the owners have been overseas somewhere and with email and that, getting contracts, etc. signed, it's quite easy. But yeah, just let us know. And look, if there's anything we need to do while you're away, maybe it's to make sure we have the heater on before an inspection or the lights on or just things that you're not able to do because you'd be away, well, just let us know and the agent looking after you and we can take care of that.
And challenge number 10 was something we've discussed on this program before. Should I get an independent building and pest report prior to going on the marketplace?
Yeah, I think for some property owners, they probably should. I think if it's an older home, there may be some issues or some things you're not aware of. I think for the sake of the cost, I think it's certainly worth doing. Look, otherwise, if you choose not to, that's fine as well. We do find quite often buyers will make their offer subject to a building or pest inspection being done. So, look, I think something that's for sellers, consult with our team and find out what the best way to go about is.
And it can speed up the sale. Like, I know we're looking at the owner's own home being sold here, but let's say as an owner, you've seen a house that you want to buy and you don't want to miss out on it, and then suddenly it takes an extra week to get your one sorted out because we didn't have that building and pest report. It can accelerate the process as the future belongs to the prepared.
Absolutely. Yep, well and truly.
Well, Greg, that was our top 10 challenges, and you've given great advice over every single one of them, but we can actually see here now why you need the professional guidance of a professional agent. It's not just about price. And yes, price is a negotiation, and the main reason you have an agent is to facilitate that for you, because it's not possible to negotiate your own sale as you're emotionally involved.
Correct. And I think we train with this every day, Lee, and really I see it as myself and our team and our agency, we're like our vendors, we're their protector. It's up to us to navigate them through the market. We're in it every day. We're eyeballing the buyers. We're having the negotiations. We're understanding value. And that's the sort of thing that can help our owners achieve results that, and many a times we've sold properties for sellers where they've then sent me an email later on, a month or two later, and say, Greg, that advice that you gave me at that point in time, I look back at it now and I'm so thankful that I listened to your advice. And that's what we're paid to do.
Greg, great information, and thank you for joining us and answering the top 10 challenges of what happens in the marketplace.
Thank you, Lee.